Hello again, it's me. I'm back for another time at the movie theaters, and this time, as I teased a couple days ago, it is impossibly hard to get this around the camera today for some reason. I have no idea why. Usually I don't have this much of a problem, but yeah. Hold on, let me just try and switch hands. There we go, Mufasa. This guy, to be specific. Mufasa the Lion King is the name of the movie. They could have just named it Mufasa. I don't understand why they had to shove in the Lion King tagline. I mean, we know it's the Lion King. It's freaking Mufasa. But you know what? Who cares about the title? I care about the movie. That's all I really care about. Obviously, if you know anything about me, the Lion King is my heart and soul. Along with Doctor Who, obviously. But I mean, the Lion King is my all-time favorite movie. One of my all-time favorite franchises, and yeah, I just love the whole shebang. I love the original 94 version. I love the direct-to-video sequels. I love the animated TV shows that came out of it, and I love the 2019 remake. I actually really like it. I rewatched it just today, just to prepare for this movie, and you know what? It's still good. It's not as good as the original, obviously, but nothing is to me. To me, the original is perfect. So that's why I am here to watch this movie in the theater with this guy, my good friend, my good buddy Simba came here to join me for today's rewatch. He's here to watch his father in the day before he was king, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Obviously, I don't know if I showed it in my review. This was so many years ago, but for the 2019 version, I actually brought my Timon plush to the theater. It's a Timon plush that I've had since I was a baby. It's about as old as the movie. This one's not so much. I bought him a couple of years ago, but I mean, he's here with me, and he's still wearing this vest that used to belong to my beloved dog Sandy, and before she passed away a couple of years ago. It's on Simba now, so it's almost like Sandy is here with me watching this movie in spirit, as well as I got a lot of memorabilia today for some reason. I am also wearing, I can't quite articulate this with one hand, but I'm also wearing the t-shirt that my friend Ben's mom made for me for all of his friends after he passed away. So I got my Simba with me, I got my dear departed dog Sandy with me, and I got my good friend Ben watching with me in spirit. And you know what? That's kind of the theme of the movie. If you know, you know. I mean, so it's like, instead of Simba seeing Mufasa's force ghost in the sky, I've got my Sandy and my good friend Ben watching this movie with me in spirit alongside my good buddy Simba. So yeah, clearly I'm very excited about this. I watched maybe one or two of the trailers, but I mean, I don't really need the trailer. I'm gonna see this movie anyway, so I just hope this movie's good. I hope this movie holds up to the legacy of the franchise, and I just hope I'm really not disappointed. That's all I can hope for. So I'm going in, and I'll talk to you when I come out of it. Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Mufasa, what a wonderful name. So I just came out of the movie, and I have been able to do something that I was unable to do in the first half of this review video. There it is. Look up in the sky. That is the t-shirt in honor of my good friend Ben Rayner, and of course the doggy vest of my dear dog Sandy and Simba, obviously. So the four of us have all just seen this movie collectively, and what do I think about it? It's fine. It's cute. I like it. Obviously, it ain't gonna top the original. Nothing ever will. No movie in history will ever top the majesty of the first Lion King movie from 1994. But I will say this: it also isn't nearly as good as the 2019 version. Like I said, I liked the 2019 version. I liked it a lot. I saw it 5 or 6 times in the theater when it came out. This movie, I'll see it in theaters again if I get a chance to. But for the most part, like I said, it's cute. It's not a masterpiece, but I think I said this at the first half of this review. I just needed it to be good. I didn't expect it to be any as good as the first one or the 2019 one. You know, I never expected to be blown away by this movie. I mean, I've seen so many other stories being told in the Lion King mythos. It is very hard to operate while having to hold Simba this whole time. But so let me just start off with some negatives up front. Now, this was featured heavily in the trailers, and this was a big concern of mine going into this movie, which is the lions actually smile in this movie, and not just the lions, but pretty much all the animals do what everyone complained that the animals in the first movie wasn't able to. The 2019 version, that is, couldn't do. Is that they emote, they smile, they show fear in their. They have facial expressions now, especially the lions, because I mean, they're the main focus of this movie. But I mean, Rafiki also emotes, Zazu emotes in this movie. Yes, both of them are in this movie. Like all the other animals in this movie have these facial expressions, which are physically impossible for these animals to do in real life. And I think right off the bat, from the opening few minutes of this movie, let me just put it that way. In the first movie, they tried really, really hard and succeeded in making this movie look as realistic as possible, as lifelike as possible. That's why the lions weren't showing any emotions in the 2019 version. And as soon as this movie starts, I'm not gonna say how exactly, but it's in the trailers, I believe. But you can see very clearly the realism is thrown out the window in the first few minutes of the movie. Now, that being said, this new look for the lions, it is noticeable. It is painfully noticeable, I would say, right from the start. I mean, okay, without spoiling, from the second you see the first lion in this movie, I'm not going to say which lion that is, but from the second you see the first lion or lioness in this movie, it's pretty jarring, the change, how they changed the animal. They don't look as realistic as they were in the first movie, but you know what? It's a fantasy movie, so it doesn't even matter that they don't look realistic. You know, I like the realistic look of the 2019 version. A little less fond of this semi-realistic look for the lions in this movie, but it's fine. It's okay. It doesn't pull me out of the movie. I mean, it's a bit distracting, especially, and again, you see in the trailers, there's a lot of close-up shots of the lions' faces, and you see them with a big grin on their face. That's a little jarring because, I mean, it's uncanny, I would say. It's uncanny because lions don't do that in real life. And you see that all throughout the movie, but it's nothing I can't get over. It's fine. It's passable. Just, you know, accept that it's a movie, not a nature documentary. The first one, 2019 one, looked like a nature documentary, but this one doesn't. That was a big point of contention for me in this movie. Now, another negative, though, some parts of this movie feel a bit rushed. Like, I get what they were going for. I just think certain plot points and certain things necessary to move the plot along happen a little too fast. They weren't given the time to build up, where it didn't feel natural enough. And another slight negative, the songs did not pop for me. In fact, some of the songs in this movie I think are redundant. There are a lot of songs, as you would expect, not too many songs, but none of them felt as iconic as the original Lion King. But remember, the original Lion King had songs written by Elton John. Okay, one of the greatest singer-songwriters of his generation, and several other generations as well. Can't remember who wrote the songs for this movie, but they weren't as good. Some of them didn't flow very well. Not to say they weren't enjoyable. I did enjoy listening to some of them, and I even sang along to some of them, but I don't think they're going to be very well remembered. I mean, none of them will ever reach the heights of Hakuna Matata, or Can You Feel the Love Tonight, The Circle of Life, Just Can't Wait to Be King, or Be Prepared. None of them will ever hit those high notes, but it's fine. I mean, they're songs. They were there to move the plot along, and that's what they did. But like I said, some of them felt a little unremarkable and redundant, is one way of saying it. But overall, like I said, the plot was really entertaining. The characters were nice. I really enjoyed seeing Mufasa and his brother Taka, as you probably saw in the trailers, and of course Rafiki and Zazu. And I just love spending more time with these characters. And obviously, if you see, I keep going back to the trailers, you see old Rafiki, you see Timon and Pumbaa, you see Simba's daughter Kiara, which was literally taken from Simba, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, the sequel to the 94 original classic. So, yeah, it's very interesting to me, though. This might be a slight spoiler, but it's very interesting to me that they actually kept certain names from the Lion King mythos, such as Kiara and Taka, and yet they've changed or omitted certain other names like Ahadi and Uru, which, if you know who these characters are, they're pretty much essential to Mufasa and Taka's development as cubs and into adulthood. But even though they kind of rejected those names, they pretty much nailed the personality of the characters whose names they omitted, if that makes any sense to you. Obviously, this is an origin story for Scar and Taka, and Scar and Mufasa. Scar and Taka are the same character. This is not a spoiler, by the way. It's known information. I mean, it's been in the Lion King books that came out in the 90s. That's a whole thing. You can check it out if you like. But so this is obviously an origin story for Mufasa and Scar, and naturally how Scar got the name Scar, which, you know, it's a thing now. It means it's the third retelling of how Scar got the name. Do I think it's satisfying, that particular part of the story? Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but I just think both the other two versions of how Scar got his name are so much better. So, again, but you're still comparing it to what I consider near masterpieces. So, it's not that big of an issue. Obviously, it explains how Scar became as resentful towards Mufasa, and I'm trying to think what I can say without spoiling too much, but I mean, I liked it. I get what they were going for. Again, I just feel like it was a bit rushed and a little underdeveloped, but overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being on this adventure with these characters, even though I thought certain plot points were rushed. The villains were really great. I mean, they're not as great as Scar, obviously, but they were entertaining to watch, and it was an interesting journey to go on with these characters and the villain characters from the movie. There really isn't that much else I can say. I really loved Rafiki's character in this movie. I mean, Rafiki's might be my favorite character of this particular side of the franchise. Now, and then this is another thing I have to stress. This is a prequel to the 2019 version, not the 1994 version. It's something you have to accept now, is that both these two movies are completely, well, not completely, but I mean, they're completely different stories, right? They are not the same. So this movie has nothing to do with the 94 original. The 2019 version kinda is tangentially tied to the 94 version, but this movie does not. Beyond just, Kiara's name, I think. But overall, as a sequel slash prequel to the 2019 version, it's nice. It's cute. It's fun. It's not obviously as good as the previous one, but yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's a fun time at the movies, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're thinking of seeing this movie, go right ahead. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. And like I said, I'll see this movie again if I get the chance. But I mean, there's another movie that came out, I believe, on the same day as this one, which I still have to watch. So I probably won't be seeing this again because I got another movie I need to watch. But that's in the future as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for watching. I enjoyed this movie. It's not great, but it's fun. I mean, it doesn't tarnish the original or whatever these words people like to throw at sequels or prequels. Yeah. So, thank you for watching. Hakuna Matata, and see you next time. Goodbye. Hi there. Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.